separate your dreams from your families or from society's expectations.
So if you have to be jealous, if you have to check the phones, if you don't feel comfortable, then there's a reason.
Oh, that's advice.
Then you're kind of miserable because you want to explore so many other things.
Yeah.
Like you're going
and
to...
you pigeonholed yourself. Now you can't do anything else.
Welcome to the Limitless Tribe, where two badass women build businesses, chase dreams, and keep it way too real. I'm Kat.
And I'm Mel. We're the founders of Powerhouse Admins and the Limitless Tribe. And we're inviting you into the messy middle, the mindset shifts, and the CEO glow-ups we never see coming.
Now let's get into it. This episode is about things we wish people had told us in our 20s or 30s. Advice, things to look forward to, and just tips. We're not sharing these because we've got it all figured out, because we definitely don't. But we're just slightly ahead of those that are in their 20s, right? We've had a few more years. And looking back, I think there's some things that we can give like advice on, or things we've learned along the way. And we're not sharing it when we're sharing them because these are lessons that life has taught us, and they've been like memorable lessons that have changed our lives in some way. Imagine you're sitting down with your younger self at 25 over coffee. What would you tell her? What have you learned so far? Even at 28, even at 30, what have you learned that you would have told your younger self? Not because we regret the journey or because we necessarily even want to change anything, because all of those things brought us to where we are today, but because there's lessons we only learned by living them. So for you, what's one thing you would tell your 25-year-old self?
I think I always say that nothing stays the same, because I think when I was younger, I would be in I would have an issue or predicament or something would happen, and I would constantly be thinking in my head that this is how life was always going to be, and it gets better. Nothing stays the same. It gets better. You have seasons, everything evolves. So that's probably what I would tell myself.
I think I would say that you made it.
I love that.
You made it, because I always dreamed of a lot of things, but I didn't really know if I would get there, and I would say that. But with what you were saying, I wonder sometimes if things were different for 40-year-olds when we were younger, or did they just not tell us? Because I feel like the experience we're having feels different than what it seemed like seeing 40-year-olds before. But we also were younger, so maybe we didn't know.
I agree. I think even seeing my parents when I was younger, and probably them in their 40s, I feel like my life is very different than their life was. I don't know if it's just the world and the times that we're in, or I'm not really sure. It's a good point though.
I don't remember people before saying that the 40s are amazing, or that this is your best era, or even people in their 50s are the 50s are amazing. People didn't say that before.
Yeah.
It was negative to age.
Exactly.
But now I think it's a fine wine aging. It really has made us so much better.
Yes, definitely. And life does get better, right? As you get older. So in your 20s, things are a little uncertain. You don't really know where you're going, what you're doing. If you're in school, you're going through school, and that's a whole obstacle in itself. And what do you want to be? And trying to figure all of that out. I had my daughter earlier. I know you had yours as well. So we were young moms. So that was a lot of uncertainty around that, and if we were going to be able to make it, and how we were going to raise our children. So it's all really unclear. Your 30s feel a little bit more grounded. I know for me they did. I started, having, more of a career and feeling more balanced, and not, feeling like I was drowning as much, which was nice. My late 30s, I think that's when I really started to feel more, I guess, better in my own skin, knowing what I kind of wanted more, and just feeling more secure. And now in my 40s, I am definitely freer, I would say. I'm definitely more aligned with myself. I'm happier than I've ever been. I feel like life is just good.
Yeah.
And I think, like I said, it just comes with every age, with every decade, things become better, it becomes more clear, and you become more yourself. And that is true. I know you always say that you want to get older so you could say whatever you want.
Yes.
And
I already say something.
And I was going to say, you already do a lot.
But I feel like you think that because I'm comfortable with you. So I will. But when I'm not, I'm silent. I say nothing. So I want to say it no matter who the other person is.
Yes. And I feel like you see those people that are older that have
no filter.
They just say it and they don't care. And
I dream.
Cathy is dreaming of getting there. And I think it is true though, because you start noticing as you get older, you say more things, or you do more things that you wouldn't do when you were younger, right?
Yeah.
So when did you finally start feeling more comfortable in your own skin?
I think for me it was around the same ages as you, and a lot of it happened for me. I feel like a lot of it happened right around 40. It was like a good peak, but in the early 30s, late 30s, I met my husband. Then I was in the transition of jobs, but I wasn't quite having the business. The business opened right at 40, and then the podcast came like maybe like 42, 43.
Yeah.
And we bought this house in the 40s and we got married. So a lot of the peak of these things have happened in my 40s.
Yeah, I feel the same way. Like I feel like 35 is when I started. Around 35 is when I was like, okay, I need a change and this is what I want to do. And I kind of was like, it didn't all align right away, but I kind of knew that I needed something different, and I was a little bit more secure because, financially and stuff. So I felt like, okay, I can do this and I can make better decisions. And then 40s is really when it like took off.
Yeah. I feel like younger, I made the decisions that I had to.
Yes.
So I was successful at that job, and I had other relationships, but it wasn't it.
Mm-hmm.
And then after I got older, I was able to like choose differently and like make better things. But from what you were saying earlier too, I wanted to say, like, when you're 20s, I think you stress so much about like who are you going to be, like you said, and also like what your career is going to be, and like what your passion is, like what's your.
So you think it has to be like one thing, and like you have to find it.
Yeah, so I
know what it is.
I think honestly that's like a huge one. Like, just obviously have a plan, like work towards something, be curious about it, learn about it, but don't put so much pressure on it, because who you are at 20 and what you're interested in and what you want to pursue may not be the same thing at 30, may not be the same thing at 40, and that's the point, I think.
Exactly.
Some people are pick the one thing and they love it and that is what they stay with, but I think a big majority of people aren't that way. And then when you try to like stick to that path, then you're kind of miserable because you want to explore so many other things.
Yeah.
Like you're going
and
to...
you pigeonholed yourself. Now you can't do anything else.
Right. And then you feel like, you can't change this career because you worked so hard for it, or because other people are proud of you, or whatever it is. But that career and everything you learned there brought you to that point. And even if you change careers, you don't leave that. Like, you take all of those lessons with you and everything that added to you as a person, but you get to like be something else. Like, there's no, I don't know, that felt like a really heavy thing for me.
I agree. And it's never too late to start over. Like, you could constantly start over, and it's okay.
Yeah.
You could decide at 40 that you want to open a business. You can decide at 50 that you want to change careers.
And I think that's
better. It's okay.
I honestly think it's better, because so many people stay and they're not even happy in what they're doing.
Exactly.
And they just stay because they're trying to be consistent.
We know someone that was 60 that just went and got their like master's degree. Like, go for it.
Yeah.
Good for you.
Yeah. So don't stress that you have to have a perfect answer. You just need the current answer.
Exactly.
Like whatever you want to be right now. But don't stress that needs to be something you stick with forever. That's just what you're going to keep until it makes you happy, until you're growing. And when you feel like you've grown enough from that experience, or you're done with it, then you're free to move to something else. So another thing that I've been working on a lot that's been evolving over the years, I think, is confidence, right? Not necessarily in looks, but in how I feel. And I've come to learn, and I'm not there yet, but I've come to learn that like the most confident people, it's really not about how they look.
Yeah.
Because I've seen people, I don't know if you've seen people online sometimes, they are bigger than I am. They have other things that I don't have, and they look amazing, and they look confident, and they look really good in what they're wearing. And it's because of like an energy that they have, that they're so comfortable in their own skin and they feel good, and it shows in the outfit.
Yes.
But if you look good and you don't feel like you look good and you're self-conscious, it's probably not going to come across as good as that other person does.
Yeah, it's going to show. Everyone's going to be able to tell.
Yeah. So I would really work more than the looks on like how you feel about yourself, and like how obsessed you are, and how much you love yourself, and compliment yourself in the mirror and that kind of thing, because your energy and your vibe, that's the confidence you're going to be able to lead with. It comes from keeping promises to yourself, from doing the hard things, from trusting yourself. Knowing your worth is a huge one. I think that's like directly tied to confidence. What for you like helped you believe in yourself and get more confident?
Like, it's something I'm still working on, obviously, but it's not something that just like one thing happened. I think it's like a compilation of things. Getting a job, or like if I applied for a job, like when I applied for Optum and I didn't think that was a job I could get, like I was a little nervous, I don't have the background for this. I know I have the healthcare background, but I've never done auditing, and I have to travel, and I've never traveled for work, and it's a little bit more like salesy, and I haven't done that. And then I got it and I succeeded, and I was like, oh, okay, put that in my little toolbox of confidence, right? And then, going into Powerhouse and, not falling flat on my face, I'm like, oh, okay, put that in my little toolbox of confidence. So it's little things that you just check off your list, or for me at least, they have been like things that I've checked off my list that I wasn't 100% sure if I could do it, but I went for it anyway, and I got it done, and I was like, oh, yes, I did it. Well, now I'm a little bit more confident in myself. And little by little, it just, it grows and grows until you start feeling a little bit more like yourself and believing in yourself and knowing that you can really be resilient and accomplish anything. At this point, I feel like no matter what, I'm not going to fall flat on my face. I'm going to be okay. So I think that's like my confidence right there.
For sure. Especially at work, like you see those transitions.
Yes.
But that goes back to what I was saying. The more things you try, and the more you try things you're not comfortable with and you've never done, every time you accomplish that thing or you overcome it or you're successful at it, it boosts your confidence.
It does.
And then it becomes not like, oh, I did this one thing. When you do enough of things that you didn't know if you can do, then it becomes, I think, part of your identity that you can do hard things, and no matter what comes at you, you have enough skills you've built up that you're going to be able to handle it. And that's a huge thing.
It is. So also stop caring so much, right? Most people aren't thinking about us nearly as much as we think they are. And I think that's one thing that I really had to learn. I used to be so worried, and still it happens every now and then, but I think I'm much less concerned now with what people are thinking of me. I used to be very concerned with it. Like, I didn't want to post on Instagram. I didn't want to, the podcast thing, never, like, that would didn't even cross my mind, because God forbid someone's going to go on and look at me and be like, what is she doing? Even working out, I used to say, like, I didn't want to post like workout videos because I was like, oh, people are going to be like, who is she? Like, why is she thinks she looks good? Why is she? So those things, like, but in reality, everyone's got their own life. They're doing their own thing. They're focused on themselves, and you don't have to worry about that so much. So be weird, be awkward, be authentic. I really wish I could tell my younger self in my 20s and like early 30s to be weird. To just go out there and just be super awkward and not give a crap and, dance.
I'm not there yet.
No, that's the one that I'm like super
I want to get high
reserved.
Level, yes, high level weird, and I'm just not.
Me too.
Not that. But
But I think it's evolving little by little.
Yeah, but I wanted to move faster.
Yeah, I know.
But like when I think the last time I remember really being weird, like really like fun, and I think it might have been like high school, because we had so much fun. And I feel like, and sometimes when I see like middle schoolers or high schoolers, more middle schoolers, they're in their own bubble.
They are. Like,
they're having so much fun in the silliest thing. They think that they are just the center.
Oh, they think they're super cool.
Yes, and it's just so much fun. Like, we used to, at the last day of school, we had shaving cream fights. Like, our whole school.
That's so cool.
And we participated, and there was like egg throwing, and then I remember like when it rained, I'd get under all the gutters and puddles, and I'd go home and like shower after. But like we'd have fun in the water. Like, I want to be like that.
Yeah, that's super carefree.
Yeah.
Yes, and that's what I would tell someone in their 20s and 30s, is to just be carefree, because then you're going to get to your 40s and you're like, now I'm really trying to be carefree. Now I'm trying more to like be awkward and be strange and not care so much, because everyone's doing their own thing. I just want to go out and dance, and I think I've gotten a little bit better at that. Like, now I'll be like, Paul, let's dance, and he's like, what?
Yeah,
not 100% there,
dancing,
but a little bit, because I just want to let go.
Yeah.
So what's something you were scared to do that nobody actually cared about?
I don't know about the nobody caring, but I think I was really scared to start a business. It's something that I've always wanted to do since I was young, but every time I've started, I've talked myself out of it.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, it's not going to work for this and this reason, and I go down the rabbit hole and I research a million things, and I spend hours. I register the name. I think of a name. I think of a logo. I think of like all the things I'm going to do in this business, and then I'm like, no, but like nobody's going to buy, and what if I don't have enough money? And then I just talk myself out of it, and I never did it. So I think taking the risk now that I was older, that I had some savings, not a ton at that time. I had already used up a good amount of my savings. My daughter's a little bit older, but still living with me. It was still a risk. Also, like, I think there's stigma of like opening a business and it not being successful. But at the same time, a huge chunk of businesses aren't successful. So either way, I was like if I'm not successful, it's a good chance I'm not going to be successful because of these statistics. But then you have to like admit that you failed at this business. So that's been one of the harder things. And then throughout the business, it's a lot of the challenges like force you to deal with stuff.
Yes.
That aren't related to the business, but more like your nervous system or how you handle things or what you say, what you do, what you accept. It's like brought it up front like more often.
Yeah. Yeah, I think even, I know when you're talking about like the business and stuff like that, even like coming on board and when I was making the decision, a part of me at one point was like, what are people going to say? Like, you left your job to do what? And then I was like, what the hell do I care? Like, what do I care? Everyone's doing their own thing. Like, but the podcast was probably the big one for me because I get so nervous with like people looking at me on Instagram and I feel like they're going to judge me. But then what's the worst that can happen? Like, that was something that everyone kept saying, like, what's the worst that can happen? They judge you and they leave you a bad comment. Like, what? It's like, yes, that's going to hurt me.
Yes, this was a big one too. Even though it was something I always wanted to do.
Yes. But it's still nerve-wracking.
I felt like people were going to be like, why? We want to listen to that. But I was like, even if nobody listens, it's something that I want to do.
Yeah.
And I think it goes back to like sticking to your word. So it's something that I want to do, regardless of the outcome. If we do it and we have fun with it, it's a success.
Exactly.
If it brings something else, then that's great.
And I have learned to love it. Like, I don't know.
Now we start right away.
I know. We don't breathe so much before. I don't have to like sit and go, okay, we could go. Like, it's good now.
So I think another one, and when I was younger, I used to watch this movie. Actually, not that young. I picked up on it later. It was called He's Just Not That Into You.
Oh, yeah.
And I would watch that movie like every year as a reminder.
That's
to like
so
remind me
that
that
movie.
if I have questions, it's probably not the one.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're constantly wondering or doubting, it's probably not the person. I feel like when a guy really likes you, he makes it known and you're not wondering, you're not questioning, you're not getting mixed signals. Like, they're very, very clear when they like you. When they don't, or they only want a piece of you, that's when you get those like unclear messaging.
Yes.
Healthy love feels peaceful. It feels calm. Like, it's not a roller coaster. It's not a roller coaster. It's not like those extreme like wow moments, but then super low moments,
Yeah, I remember when I first started dating Paul, I would tell you like, but it's so calm.
I'm like nothing. That's how it's supposed to be.
It's not. We don't fight. We don't argue. Like, it's calm, and you're like, that's good. I was like, really? I don't know. I don't think he likes me. We're not fighting. So, yeah, it is peaceful.
I think the peaceful one, I never had like really toxic or, tons of fighting. But the wondering, yes. And like, I feel like a lot of relationships, I felt like I had to be enough to be.
You had to do extra, right? Yeah, me too.
Like, I had to work to be worthy of the relationship constantly. So like, I couldn't just relax and be grumpy or upset or all the other feelings that come. Like,
you had to hide all your feelings and just be peppy and happy and nice and on.
So that is a big one too. Like, I think it felt like more work, but still never enough.
Yeah.
So if you're feeling that, that's probably it's not the person.
Yeah, definitely not.
The person that is the right person for you, you're going to be able to be the same as you would be if you were alone. Awkward, weird, messy, or sick, or whatever you're going through, like, it would be okay with that person, and they're not going to judge you, or they're not going to think less of you. You're not going to lose points, like none of that. So stop trying to convince people to choose you. That was a big one that I learned. If you don't like me, that's perfectly fine. I don't want to convince you. And that goes with work, with personal, with relationships, with friendships. Like,
I feel like I had relationships that I had to convince or beg the person like to understand like who, like why they should be with me. And I'm like, what? And now you look back and I'm like, why? Why was I so stupid? Why was I trying to do that? Like, if I have to convince you or beg you to pick me, then no, you should just go on.
Correct. And I know that, and I think those people are less, right? Because not everybody is your person and going to feel that way about you. So if you feel like everybody treats you that way, you just haven't come across the right person. And the faster you realize that and you keep it moving, you waste less time with those people and you're closer to finding someone who's actually interested in you.
Yeah.
Because you don't find that person also because you spend years with this one trying to convince them.
Exactly.
What advice would you give someone deciding whether to stay or go?
Well, if you have to think about it and that's even a question in your mind, then leave, because that shouldn't even be a thought. Like if you have to decide that, just leave. It's not worth it. You should know.
I think there's little exceptions if you're like a runner, you know? Or,
if you're working on yourself in certain ways, yes.
But if it's anything about them, I think that too. Especially like even with like cheating things. Like I'm not really like the type of person to like check your phone or your things, or I'm not really jealous until you give me a reason to. So if you have to be jealous, if you have to check the phones, if you don't feel comfortable, then there's a reason.
Oh, that's advice right there. So I've been in relationships where I felt like I had to check someone's phone, where I've had to follow someone to know that they're cheating on me. Because I feel like you're cheating on me, so I'm going to follow you to prove that you're cheating on me. If you have to do all of that, you should not be with that person. Because I can tell you from being in a healthy relationship, it's not even a thought.
Yeah.
It's not even a thought.
And some people, I think, have like a very, like they're very emotionally hurt and they haven't healed. So again, if it's you, then you need to do the healing. But with the person, I feel like even if they're not cheating, if that person doesn't act in a way that is respectful and makes you feel secure, and it's not related to you and your fears, then it's still not the right person, even if they're not cheating. Because some people aren't cheating, but they just don't create like a safe environment. I don't know how to explain that, but like
I agree. They're not giving you
like if somebody is secretive.
Yes. And some people aren't cheating, but they're flirting, but they're doing other things that they probably shouldn't be doing. So it's creating that sense for you that there's something going on, and it's giving you that uncertainty, and they're not giving you like a safe environment to be with them. So that's not worth it.
Yeah.
So just be mindful of those things. Also, I would tell my younger self to get to know yourself. Learn who you are, learn what your likes are. I know that I didn't do this till a little bit later in my life. When I got out, or I was getting out of a not great relationship, I started to focus more on me and what I wanted. I know I started going to yoga. I met Cathy and Erica. I started to do things that were more aligned with who I am, instead of always pleasing someone else and what they wanted to do. I started focusing more on the things that I like, and I started to get to know myself. I started to spend time in my head, which at first was very scary, because I didn't want to be in my head. I didn't want to sit with my own thoughts. I didn't want to really dig deep and get to the bottom of the things that I needed to work on. But that's really important. It's really important to heal your traumas and to get to know yourself. And to learn who you are so that you can be a better you, and then you could be better for someone else as well. And you can, if you want to find someone and that's your goal, then that's what you can do. Separate your dreams from your families or from society's expectations. Also a big one. I grew up with a lot of pressure and like just being told certain things, right? You have generational traumas. You have things that your family tells you like, oh, you need to be married by a certain age. You need to have a career by a certain age. You need to start having kids by a certain age, buy a house by a certain age. You don't need to do anything by any age. You have your own timeline. You're figuring life out. So there's no pressure to do all these things at a certain time. And again, just learning to enjoy your own company, being alone shouldn't feel scary. You should be able to sit by yourself and like really pay attention and get to know yourself and be okay with that. If it's scary, then you have some work to do. Figure that out. Like, why is this scary? Why don't I want to sit with myself? Why don't I want to be in my own head? So what surprised you most about yourself as you've gotten older?
I guess I'm surprised at the things I've done, how much I put myself out there, I guess. Because I'm like a scary person, like a scaredy cat. Like I am nervous about a lot of things and I'm scared about a lot of things. And I think sometimes when people see me from outside, they don't think that. But like it takes effort for me to do different things. And doing this podcast and putting ourselves out there and starting the business and taking that risk and just all these different things that I know are scary. Even getting married, I've always wanted to be married, but I haven't seen good relationships. So there's always a fear of like, will it last? Because I haven't really had example of that. So I guess it surprised me like how much I've pushed forward and I put myself outside my comfort zone and try new things and do scary things and
I like that.
Stuff like that.
Yeah. I think for me, it's more that I accomplished the things that I've accomplished. Like I've gotten to the place in my life. Like I think when I was younger, you felt like you had dreams and you were going to get there. You just didn't know how.
Yeah, but I still feel like getting there is still like,
oh yeah, it's like, wow, I actually did it, right? I feel like when I was younger, I always felt like, oh, things aren't going to get better. This is just going to be my life forever and this isn't going to change. And then like every time something good would happen, I'm like, oh wow, I made this. I did this. I accomplished this. So I'm surprised at like how my life has turned out and how it didn't turn out the way I expected it to turn out so much better. And the other thing I think I would say is I don't need to impress anybody. Like I feel like before when I was younger, I felt like I had to fit in. I had to do this. I had to, be on all the time because I wanted people to like me. And I don't care like if you really like me. I try to be a good person. I try to do the right thing. And if you like me, great. And if you don't, I'm sorry. I hope you like me, but
I think my circle's small, so I don't experience that much. Like the people that I have, I feel like I could be that way with. So I think another one is about looks and like how you feel about your body. When I was really young, I remember being like 16 and like looking in the mirror and I having like a checklist of head to toe everything that I would change. Everything. It was like a lot of things. And then over the years, they've become less and less and less and less. And I've just accepted like who I am and where I am and how I look. And I love myself for how I am. And I don't think that way actually anymore. Like even if now that I have more money and I have like the opportunity to do certain things, I tend to more like lean into like aging naturally and just accepting how I am. I still want to do like some enhancements and workouts and things like that, but not the big things that I used to think about. But I also think when I was younger, I was so much skinnier and I used to think I was fat.
Yeah, I know. Isn't that crazy?
So every area that you're in, wherever you are, you're at your best. I take that back. Not your best, because there's people, and I hope to be one of those that look their best even older. But it is the youngest you're going to be. And you don't know what you're going to look like in the future. So love the body that you're in the moment. Take all the pictures because those memories and that time passes. Like you're never going to get those years again. Yeah. I've heard stories of like some moms that feel so uncomfortable in their bodies that they don't take pictures with their kids.
Yeah.
And they miss all these years of memories and pictures because something so silly and their kid never in a million years was thinking of that.
And it is so nice to later on go back and look at pictures. Like even from before I was born, like I go back and look at my parents' pictures and like pictures of them and their siblings. And like, it's so cool to be able to go back and like see those moments.
Yeah.
So even in your own life to go back later, or your kids are going to want to go back later and see like them with you and like you when you were younger, and to not have those is sad.
Yeah. And you'll regret it, honestly.
You will.
My daughter hates taking pictures, but every time I take a picture, like forced.
Yeah.
She's like, "Can you send me the picture?"
I know,
she
right?
posts it. I'm like, So you're going to want to take the picture. Take the picture. If you later didn't want it, you could delete it, but you can't take the picture again after the moment passes.
Yeah.
So take the picture, enjoy the moments, buy memories instead of things. And this is the youngest you're going to look. So enjoy the moment. You only get this moment once.
Boundaries are love. I love that this is what I'm talking about. But, another thing that I would tell my younger self, which is something that I'm still working on actively, and I've gotten better.
Huge.
I've gotten way better from when,
Oof, like from when we met Mel to today. Sometimes she'll say things and I'm like, said that. I'm like, whoa. But before,
Oh yeah, I'm still actively working this. It's not perfection, but it is. I'm light years ahead of where I was when when back in the day. No is a complete sentence, right? So boundaries. Boundaries are love. You need boundaries in your life. You should not let people step all over you. No is a complete sentence. That's something that took me a long, long time to understand and to be comfortable with, but you can say no, and you don't need to further explain. Boundaries do not make you mean, right? You're protecting your peace, you're protecting yourself, your area, and that is fine. A lot of times, I don't know if this is with every family or friends or whatever, but people want you, they're going to want your time. They're going to want you to do things for them. It's easier for them if you do it for them. It's easier for them if you go out of your way. But if you don't want to do it, you don't have to do it. You want to do the things that make you happy, that fulfill you, that give you energy, that give you peace. Protect your peace, because your mind is what, your mind is yours, and it's what you have, and it's what gives you sanity, and you need to feel good and calm, and that's all you have. And speak your mind. You deserve to have an opinion, and I think that's another big one. At work, at home, wherever, don't be afraid to speak up. You're not, there's no stupid question. There's nothing, there's no repercussions for speaking up and like giving your opinion. And if there is, then you don't deserve to be. You don't need to be in that place or in that space. And you want to take yourself out of that scenario, because you should be able to speak up and you should be able to say what's on your mind.
Yeah, I was going to say that too. And I think with family, sometimes you don't get the choice of not being there. But yes, everything else, if the person has a problem with you setting boundaries or you saying you don't want to do something or having an opinion, that's not the place you want to be.
Yes.
And obviously with work, you can't make that decision from one day to another. But now you know that this isn't the right space and you need to start looking.
Yeah.
And with friends, you don't need friends like that. You don't need relationships like that.
Yeah. My husband always would tell me, like, no one forces you to work anywhere. You might need a job, but you can start looking for something else if you're not happy where you are. And until you find something else, maybe you have to stay there. That's fine. But keep looking, because you're going to find something better.
So summarizing or just adding a few more of lessons that we've learned along the years, I wish people had told me that jobs are stepping stones. Early on, I feel like I had so much loyalty for the job that the job didn't have for me.
100%.
So be loyal, but this is a stepping stone. You don't need to be there forever. You can, if you continue to evolve and they do with you. But if you don't, or it's not the best place for you, it's perfectly normal and actually healthy career moves to move forward. Don't feel like you owe them anything. Start saving money early. I wouldn't say hoard like I did and don't enjoy anything at all, but always save early on. You want to make sure that you have a safety net. It gives you options and helps you make better decisions without you having to make rash decisions.
Yes.
So it's a really big security. So definitely save money early. Focus on your health now, wherever now is for you, because the earlier you start, the better. But there's no cutoff time like, oh, you didn't start by when you were 30, or no, you can start at any age, but start now, even if it's little things. I know for some of us it's harder. So just start with little things, but start and do something towards your health every day. Good friends are priceless.
I love this.
I was never that person that didn't have friends in relationships, but do not, please, I beg you, do not do that. And I've seen in movies where sometimes the girlfriend is like, you're here for this wedding, but I'm going to be here for all of the weddings if there's more. So your friends are the ones that are there for you forever. And you never know with a spouse, honestly.
Exactly.
Things can happen.
It's so good to have a girlfriend or just a friend to talk to and get things off your chest and be able to be yourself and share a part of you that you're probably not going to tell other people or speak to other people about, but you have this comfort level that you can say anything.
It's therapeutic, honestly.
It really is.
Yes. And when you're in a relationship, I think it makes it healthier to have that. For both of you to have your friend group so you can get together, but also have your moments where you get together with just your girlfriends and they get together with just their guy friends. So definitely prioritize that. Comparison steals joy. Mm-hmm. We're not all on the same lane. We're all doing different things. We all have different goals, different priorities, different values. Don't compare yourself to the other person because you're on different paths.
And isn't that the best thing?
Yeah.
Like the best part of life is being able to know that like you have one goal or one path that you're on, I have one, and then we can talk about it and share and like, you know, enjoy the successes together.
Yeah. And how boring if everybody was on the same exact.
Exactly.
That would be very boring. So you don't need everyone's approval. Honestly, you only need your approval.
Yes.
You don't need anybody else's approval. You can start over more than once, and please do.
Yeah.
Start over as many times as you want to. I also think, like, take enough risks where you actually fail.
Yes.
If you're not failing at anything, you're probably not trying enough things because you're not going to be perfect at everything. But if you keep what you try small and you limit what you do, then yes, maybe you will be great at everything. But put yourself out there, do the hard things, fail. It doesn't matter. You learn a lesson, you either keep going on that because you want to master that, or you realize that's not for you and you go somewhere else. But failing, I think, was one that I learned really late. And I realized that it's like your friend. It's not a bad thing. Your intuition usually knows first. Learn to recognize those moments. And as you see that your intuition matches with what's happening, you learn to trust it and just believe it from the beginning.
Yeah, don't second guess it so much. It's usually right.
Yes. But I feel like you don't realize it. You hear it, you kind of ignore it, and then it happens, and then you connect the dots. So after a few times you've connected the dots, just trust what you're feeling and go with it, even if it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Sometimes it doesn't make sense, and I'm like, I don't know if I'm making the right decision. And a little bit later, it'll show me that that was the right decision.
Yeah.
And then a big one that I've learned also probably in my mid-30s, stop waiting until you're ready. And I think that goes with the failing. Just do it. Do it badly, do it terribly, but do it because you're already ahead of the person who's not trying.
Yeah, and if you wait till you're ready, you may never be ready.
Yes, you have. There's so many things I didn't start because I didn't feel ready, or I didn't feel like I was good enough, or I didn't think I had the skills. Just do it, and you're gonna learn it in the process, or you're gonna step up to it, or whatever it is. But like, just start it.
Yeah, you don't want to be 90 saying, "Oh, I wish I would have done this."
Yeah,
you know.
Sometimes I think you don't even want to do the thing. But you never even tried it, so you like idolize this thing as perfect.
I know.
And then you do it, and you're like,
I did not want to do that. I wish I would have never done that.
So just go for it.
You don't have to have it all figured out. I don't know if I thought by 40 I'd have all the answers, but I did think by 40 I'd probably have my life figured out.
I don't even think I thought 40.
Yeah, I don't know if I was like,
seems like
yeah. I just thought that I'd have more figured out, right? But I learned that we're always growing. We're always changing. We're always evolving. Life isn't something that is all figured out just at one, like, oh, you turn a certain age, that's it. Now life is complete, right? It evolves. And with every decade, you change and you learn something new. And not even every decade, with every year that passes, you learn something new. I know, like going from early 30s to late 30s, my life completely changed. Going from my 30s to my early 40s, my life completely changed. And it's good. It's good to change. It's good to evolve. So you don't have to have all the answers. You don't have to have your whole life planned out by a certain age. And that's the beauty of it. That's the beauty of growing and changing. So what's something that you're still learning today?
I think I'm still learning to take up space.
That's a great one.
And the voice thing. You know, sometimes the other day I was somewhere, I don't know where I was, and, you know, like something in passing, like I said something like no problem to someone, but I said it almost in my head.
Yep.
Like I don't speak loud enough for people to hear me sometimes, or sometimes I say hi, or I say things and people don't hear me.
Yeah.
Because I think I'm so like scared to be loud or to speak up that it's not being heard. And then I think some people might think I'm not even being friendly.
Yeah.
But I said something and you didn't hear me and I didn't speak up
and
louder.
do you argue with yourself about it in your head?
Yeah, that time I was like, they didn't even hear that.
Right?
I barely
Because
whispered it.
I feel like I am the same way. Like sometimes I want to say something, but then I don't say it, or I don't say it loud enough. And then I'm like, why are you like this? Why didn't you just say it? Like, and I fight with myself about it in my head. And I'm like, so like, just speak up, just say what you want to say.
Yeah. My voice is just not loud enough.
Yeah.
So I'd actually
that one.
like to like, I would like to take some kind of class for it. I
Yeah.
think I need like more help.
I will take it with you. We could do the class.
An improv class.
Yes.
You're like something like that.
Where you get on a stage and like do comedy and stuff like that. I will be in there with you.
Yeah. I've always been terrified, but again,
let people throw banana peels at me. I don't care. Like,
yeah,
I like that answer.
I need
though.
something to speak up louder. Sometimes also
to take up more space. I love that answer.
Yeah. If I'm comfortable, I will say things.
Yeah.
Sometimes I feel like I want to say something because someone said something that I feel is very wrong, and I don't, and then I'm really pissed off that I didn't stand up for like what I thought.
Me too. I get those moments. So I feel the same way. I want to be able to take up more room and be okay with it.
Yeah.
Definitely.
All of these things are within us. I don't know. I think I have a saying that like, I think as we get older, we become more and more ourselves because we like let go of all the armor and all of the things that we've picked up along the way. So just learn to trust yourself sooner. Get to know who you are. Life isn't about you becoming perfect. It's inviting you to really just be who you unapologetically you. So our question for the week, please tell us in the comments, if you could sit down with your 25-year-old self, just for 5 minutes, what's the one thing you would tell her? Just one.
I love that. I can't wait to hear your answers.
Yes. I've seen this on Instagram, and it's beautiful to see like all the different things. And even now, like there's a couple women that I follow that are in their 50s, and they look amazing. They're confident. They look happy, and they are always talking about how amazing their 50s are. And I feel like that's great because it gives you hope that it gets even better.
Exactly.
You know? So if you enjoyed today's conversation, if you like our podcast, don't forget to share our podcast, like, subscribe. We'd really appreciate it. And share this with someone who needs to hear it. Somebody who's in their 20s and is looking for some direction or is struggling with some of these things. Every share helps us grow the Limitless Tribe community, and we're so grateful that you're here. So for next week, we're going to be flipping the script. Instead of looking back, we're going to be looking ahead as we talk about things to look forward to in your 40s. So it's like what I was saying, if you're in your 20s, now these are the things you're going to enjoy about your 40s. If you've ever been nervous about getting older, or if you're already in your 40s and loving this season of life, we think this episode is going to leave you feeling excited about what's ahead. So until next time, your life, your rules, stay limitless.